Welcome back to Arsenic Culture. I'm Matt.
Jason.
I'm Mike Nolan.
And we are about to visit the Green Fairy and get fucked up on some absinthe. Let's go. Oh, we kind of got like a new studio here too, which I think is very nice. Kind of cool. I've slowly been adding shit to different elements of the background. If you watch us on YouTube, youtube.com/arsenic-culture. And I've had this like faux brick panel up, and I think that one's upside down. Actually, I'm looking at it. Jesus Christ, I wasn't even paying attention.
How do you know if it's upside down?
I look at the shadow right over there.
Oh.
You see the fake shadow on there?
I don't, but I'm gonna agree.
Anyway, yeah, we had some focus issues in the back, so
Dumbass.
I put these bricks in the background to cover it. But like in our old videos, it's just like covering up like a third of the screen, and you can still see shit in the background. So, but we moved everything over. We got some more space here to do more activities and just swing our arms when we get drunk and we do the mosh pit. But we do a lot of bourbon. We do a lot of beer. That's where our MO is. We enjoy it. We love it. We know it. But I really want to. I've always wanted to kind of just visit everything. Just get well versed in the world of debauchery and
we're diverse alcoholics.
Yes, exactly right. Yeah, and we do food and stuff. We try to. It's hard to get food. Like it's hard to get like good food or like interesting food. You know what I'm saying? But there's so many different types of like liquor and booze out there that people have like never heard of, that I've never heard of. So I really want to try some different things, not just rare, but just like really interesting things. And really at the top of my list was absinthe, because it has this notoriety, you know, it has this history of being something that will like make you trip balls, you know, historically, right? Nolan, you ever done absinthe before?
I have. I've tried it a couple times, but I've never really tripped on it. But I've always just thought that it tasted kind of funny. But
yeah,
I'm interested to try it again just to see what it's about.
And it's funny, I even say that. I didn't say, have you drank absinthe? And it's just like instinctively I said, have you done it? You know, like, hey, you done coke before? Yeah.
I feel like in the past when I first heard of absinthe, I think I was in New Orleans. We went there on our honeymoon actually, and
it's actually really popular in New Orleans.
Yes, for the Hemingway aspect, I'm sure we'll get into that. But you know, looking at it, it was like, oh my God, it's illegal. You know, it's wormwood. It'll make you crazy. Don't do that. Don't drink that. Yeah. So we went to a bar and it's like, we have absinthe drinks. I'm like, what? I mean, can I get that? Like am I allowed? You know?
You're like slipping a 20 under a napkin and be like, you're like looking off to the side, just like put this in your pocket, buddy.
Bartender's like, what the hell, dude?
He's like, we got a whole shelf over here. It's like the tourist section for absinthe, you know? So, when it comes to absinthe, there's not really a secondary market necessarily. There may be some underground bullshit I don't know about, but you can get it pretty much anywhere. It was illegal in the United. It was illegal in most of the world for many years because it includes wormwood. So absinthe is actually an anise flavored spirit, and then they use a bunch of other plants in it too, like a bunch of botanicals. And I've noticed in my research of like finding all kinds of off the wall liquors is that a lot of them use botanicals and anise and stuff like that. It was
like gin.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, there was I guess there was like a movement to just kind of like put a bunch of shit in a pot and just cook it and ferment it, you know?
I think, you know, back when it was probably invented that's what they had, right? So they didn't have like, I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I'll go back to beer just a little bit. Weren't IPAs made to like make the trip over from like Spain or something, like to keep it fresh?
Supposed to preserve it a little bit.
Preservation, that's right.
Exactly right, yeah.
So I mean, that's why, so it's a flavoring agent, but also a preservation. So I'm assuming maybe it's something to do with
and
this.
as we've talked in other episodes when it comes to beer, before they even had hops, you know, they had the Groot, which was a style that didn't use hops, and they just another thing of amalgam.
Honey,
I've
got a bunch of shit out back. Let's throw it in there.
Jordan says he wants a Groot over here in the corner.
Please God, make a Groot.
This is our Groot corner anyway. So, but it includes grand wormwood, which is the thing that it's supposed. A lot of people back then they thought it was hallucinogenic and it would like fuck you up. Absinthe itself doesn't actually have a definition of what goes into it, what has to go into it, but most people include what they call the Holy Trinity: grand wormwood, anise or green anise, or sweet and sweet or Florence fennel. So anise, fennel, and then wormwood. And then they ferment all that shit together.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's fucked up. I don't actually know why. Like, who was the first person that was just like, I'm going to put wormwood in this and see what happens?
Probably somebody tripping balls on something else.
Wormwood.
Maybe some rancid meat or something back then.
They were like chewing on wormwood. You're like, it'd be good. Let's just keep this party going and just ferment it and see how fucked up we can get.
3 days later.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But a potency for absinthe can range anywhere from 45% to 78%.
Very strong.
And I think that kind of adds to the lore of like how fucked up you get. It's maybe not necessarily like you're tripping, but you're just really drunk.
Well, and back then too, I mean, you look at a lot of the drinks, they're probably lower proofed. And of course, I'm sure it's not the consistency. So now if you go to a distillery or a brewery, it's like, oh, we can do the gravity test. Like, it's 7% alcohol. Every batch is within a certain parameter. Hell, back then, it might be 120. It might be
exactly
50.
right.
They don't know.
Yeah, it's just like, let's see what happens. Yeah, and they didn't have, like, gravity readings. It was just like, let's see how fast.
3 drinks to get drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
Or 10.
How fast you get drunk. Yeah, right. That's how many X's you put on the bottle, right? Yeah, like 3 glasses and you're done. Yeah. So, but it was known as La Fille Verte, which means the green fairy. So that was like the intro, because it's normally it's a green liquor. So, but the ingredient in wormwood, it's called thujone. Thujone. Okay. High doses can actually cause seizures in humans.
Diarrhea?
Well, yeah, I mean, amongst other things. I don't think there's any studies that show it'll kill you, but it will actually like fuck you up. The problem is there's so little amount of thujone that comes out of the wormwood in absinthe that it's negligible. Like, it's just not even detectable. So the whole thing's been like, it's been debunked.
I'm thinking, yeah, agreed. I'm thinking, though, like, what is wormwood? Do either of you know? Like, I'm just, here's what I picture. I picture this old piece of wood that came off a shipwreck with a damn worm, like going through
it. Yeah. And like,
I don't know what it is.
And then who would see that and be like, oh, this looks good.
Yeah. Let's put that in some alcohol. Yeah.
Maybe it's the worm that fucks you up. It's like tequila, you know?
Yeah, tequila.
Yeah, or mezcal. Yeah, that'll get you done. So
not just any wood, but wood has been on the sea. You know?
Yeah, exactly. So
with the worm.
With the worms.
So back then they banned it in 1912 in the U.S. and within like a few years in like a bunch of other countries, including France, which is where it was most popular. It originated in Switzerland, but it really gained traction in France. But by 1915, it was banned everywhere, so you couldn't get it.
Really?
Huh? Yeah.
I just assumed it was from France because.
I tell you why you probably think that too. So when I think absinthe, I don't know the name of this brand, but if you go to the store like Total Wine, Liquor Barn, whatever, you will see a bottle that's like taller than the 750, a little slimmer. It's got, I think it's Van Gogh on it. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like this oil painting of Vincent Van Gogh, and that's what I think of every time I think of absinthe. So that's probably why.
And that's a good looking bottle too.
Well, even when you look at the bottle he's got here, I mean, it just looks like a French bottle.
It is. Well, now this one is Pernod or Pernod. This actually is a French brand, and they're actually a huge brand. They've got a lot of stuff in their portfolio. But I went with Pernod because people say that this is closest to the way absinthe used to be back when absinthe was a thing. Like, it's an original recipe kind of thing. They didn't change anything. They use only natural ingredients. It's supposed to be like really good. You know, I actually looked up ratings for like some of the best absinthe you can get.
Probably hard to find.
Yeah, the San Francisco International World Spirits Competition last year gave a double gold medal to a little distillery out of Kentucky. It's called the Neely family. Have you ever heard of them?
Yeah, actually, they do fresh, I think, bourbon. I'm pretty sure.
No, it's a little bit different. Yeah, they don't distribute it at all. Really small distillery, small farm, and it's like somewhere up in northern Kentucky.
Okay.
It sounds familiar.
Is it Fresh Uncle Nearest?
Fresh, what you're thinking of, is out of Paris.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that sounds familiar, but it just could be another family related.
Yeah,
but
and that
seems like a popular.
Exactly. Yeah.
Popular, but it's a name I've heard in Kentucky before.
They do bourbon. They
I've
do
heard
like
it too. Yeah.
They do like the candied kind of like liqueurs and stuff like that. But they do an absinthe. They got double gold at the, and that doesn't mean shit. You know what I mean? Everybody gets gold.
You know my theory on that. I mean, you go to Liquor Barn, you see I think if you pay enough money, it's like, the entry fee is $10,000, and we'll make sure you get a gold.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like only entrant too.
Yeah. So, 10,000. Yeah, that'll get you a gold. You get 15,000, we'll give you a double gold.
Double gold.
Exactly right. So
platinum for 20.
Yeah. I try to get a bottle of that. They say they don't distribute, so whatever. This stuff looks good or shitty. I don't know. This might be gross.
Where did you get this bottle?
I just got this at Total Wine.
Okay.
So my question about this is, when you went to Total Wine, how many How many absinthe bottles were actually on the shelf? Was there a whole section?
They had one shelf, one short length, like 2 foot long area of the shelf, and they probably had 5 or 6 different brands on there. Lucid is a really popular brand.
I've seen that one.
When it was re-legalized in 2007, Lucid apparently was like the big one. They started bringing it back. But again, the Pernod, these guys are supposed to be like the original.
So when you told me, we might do an absinthe episode, I did a little research, and one thing you might have found this too, but do you know why they banned it, or like what was behind banning it besides the hallucinogenic alleged properties?
No, what was it?
It was the wine industry.
Okay.
They were worried over there in France that it was like taking their money away. Mm-hmm. They're like, "Oh no, this is really bad for you." Wink, wink. Here's a $100 bill. Like, let's ban this. So they were behind a lot of that, is what I was reading.
I read some conspiracy theory kind of stuff like that too. It's kind of like the whole when hemp was outlawed, in Kentucky and wherever, just because of.
Speaking of, we just went medical, I think, for marijuana in Kentucky.
We sure did.
Yeah.
Yay us! Let's get fucking high. 'Cause we never do that.
Well, I mean, it's much worse than taking Percocets and OxyContin, right?
Yeah, exactly right. So. Yeah, so I've never done absinthe before. I think I've actually tried it back when I was bartending back in the day, in 2007 when it was illegal. But I wanted to do it the right way. So
you bought some mothballs.
So you get some mothballs here. Now you get a fancy slotted spoon, and you got to pour it over there. There's a couple ways you can do it. There's a way called the Bohemian method that apparently is like marketing shtick, but it involves so you take the slotted spoon, you take a sugar cube, and you put it on top, and the Bohemian method is you light it on fire.
That's how it was served to me in New Orleans.
Really? Mm-hmm. Supposedly that is done because to cover up how shitty the absinthe is that they're serving you, just to kind of hide it. That's what I read anyway. That's a marketing shtick. So, but the real way to do it is to get one of these sugar cubes here.
So I was reading a little bit about that. So they call it this way the Parisian style, which is also known as the absinthe drip.
Yeah.
So what they'll do is pour absinthe in the glass. I'm assuming that's what you're going to do.
Yeah, I'm going to put the absinthe in first.
Yeah, put the cube on top, pour cold water on it, and that process is called louching.
It's pronounced louche.
Yeah, close enough. I'm from Eastern Kentucky, damn it.
Yeah,
so
yeah. And I'm actually interested to see that. I saw that too, louching.
Yeah.
So do you know what that is exactly?
I do. I can read it off my paper.
Do it. Yeah, do it. So I'm trying to multitask here anyway.
So what they do is it's a higher proof spirit. It thickens it and then turns it cloudy. But back to what is a hell of a big pour.
What is the ABV
well, we're
on
going
this?
to split this one between the three.
So how much is?
What's the ABV?
Yeah, what
on
is
that?
ABV?
This is 68% alcohol.
So that's 130-ish. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's a stout. That's a stout pour. Yeah. We're going to be splitting this one between three of us.
No, that's my pour right there.
That's all you?
So I think, though, back to what you said, I do think it's to make it more drinkable back then, too, to give it that.
100%,
you're
yeah.
sweetening coffee or
especially
whatever,
if you got one of the bottles 75% alcohol, you're going to have to fucking cut it with something.
Or the one from Jim back in the backwoods.
Yeah, he's got 6 X's going across his
He's got one
barrel.
eye looking that way and one eye cut out or something.
Yeah, Jim in France. Jim Bob from France. But the louche effect it's when you take oils that are found in certain ingredients in here that have actually dissolved in ethanol. Okay. And then when you reintroduce water, it dilutes it back down to where it coagulates again, and it pulls the oils back out of the solution, and it'll turn it cloudy. So that's what it's supposed to do. So I got my water over here.
I'm excited to try it. I know. You're going to spill that shit everywhere.
I know. I'm excited to see this. So
I'm excited to watch you.
I got on Amazon to buy a little dropper in there, and they have these little medicine for kids. They got a cold. And here's a 1/4 ounce of cold medicine, you little son of a bitch. And I was like, that's gonna take for fucking ever. So I was like, I looked up a bigger one. And I got this big old motherfucker here.
That's a turkey bust.
I know, and they sent this to me, and I was like, wow. God damn, what am I supposed to do with that? So you're supposed to...
don't get us pregnant, Matt.
I know, yeah. Are you ready for your exam?
Oh, no.
You're actually supposed to mix one part of this with 3 to 7 parts of this. So I'm just going to kind of go in here. But
I mean, clearly eyeball it. Screw it.
Yeah.
I believe I got full... trusting you for this.
Golly.
That's pretty cool.
So you're supposed to dabble over the sugar and it.
There it goes. There it goes.
Is it even melting yet?
Yeah, it's melting. I can see it right now. Now it's luching.
I don't know.
Leaching.
So I think you need to put more in there to watch it luge.
It's luching.
Should I just like?
It's definitely losing.
I feel like it's like Cool Runnings.
Yeah.
Luge.
Should I just like squirt it all in there? It's getting real drippy.
I'd say like go slow. Let it just.
Well, I want to, but I also want to get this fucking show on the road.
17 days later.
I know.
SpongeBob
We're good.
cut.
Yeah.
It does seem a little fast.
Well, we're supposed to mix it with like more
like
water anyway.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I mean, God, it's been 20 years. Our 20th anniversaries this year. So, yeah. There you go, boys.
Yeah.
But
yours is?
Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah,
Congrats.
She's put up with me for 20 years.
Yeah.
So there you go. Thank you, Angie. Love you. But
She's not listening anyway.
She's not watching or listening.
Yeah. It is actually dissolving. Now.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember, though, how they did it in New Orleans, and I've just not been in so long. When we went down there, talk about unique cocktails. Nolan, what are some of the most unique cocktails you've seen or you've enjoyed any place?
I recently took a trip out west.
Okay.
And went to Vegas, went to Lake Tahoe.
Fun time. I've never been to Lake Tahoe, but that's pretty cool.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I ended up going to Reno for a few days.
Cool.
And didn't really have a good beer scene. I'm all about the beer.
I'd say,
yeah.
But I took those few days and just enjoyed some cocktails. I went to a lot of different cocktail bars. They had a lot of different places that were just geared, towards cocktails. And I couldn't remember the names of a lot of these different ones, but it was interesting how they, just different takes on old fashions and things like that.
I agree with that. When you go to a night, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, basically and just the fact they had some of the rarer bourbons that I don't even really ever see here, but just different takes on not just your typical old fashioned.
Yeah, I feel like if you go to like a high end bourbon bar or something, or a mixology bar, like you see literally 15 different old fashions.
Yeah.
Because I think if I go out too and I'm getting a mixed drink, if I can't decide, that's what my go-to is. Right. I'm an old fashioned guy.
I agree. That's a good kind of staple standard.
I prefer it with rye. I think that's kind of the staple. I'm not a big cocktail guy, but I do enjoy some of those.
But I have a really interesting cocktail.
Yeah.
I went. So there was this cocktail bar that was, and it's one of the newest resorts. I think it's called.
Is it in Reno?
In Reno?
No, it's in Vegas.
Okay.
It's on it's at the other end of the strip towards like the Stratosphere.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I can't think. It's one of the newest resorts.
They've
just
redone
built
a lot
it.
down there since I've been. So
This is just built.
Okay.
I can't think of the name of it, but there was this bar in there, and where the cocktails had these little.
Oh, is it like the little like round circle on top? It's like that you pop it. Is that the one?
I have seen those. And you
Okay.
can actually find one of those here where they have the little bubble on top and
Yeah,
you can pop
yeah.
it. Those are always cool. But these had like little passion fruit little droplets. So when you would drink the cocktail, you would get these little, they're like gel. And you would.
Like boba? Is that what you call it? Like the
like
in
boba?
the-
Like a hemorrhoid? On top? Just like a hemorrhoid? You got a pop passion fruit
You
hemorrhoid?
ever
They
seen
just
that
look like
boba
little-
tea or
Yeah.
something. It's like a little.
They just look like little balls,
bet
little
that's it.
goblets, and then you drink the cocktail, and then when it's kind of like a
flavor explosion in your mouth.
one of those
It's a sploosh.
That's the sploosh.
like those remember those gushers back in the day? You had those little fruit gusher things
for sure.
It'd be like that, but it was passion fruit, and it would just explode.
That sounds-
Have you
that
had
sounds
boba
good.
tea before?
I haven't. No.
Okay, I bet you that's what it
It's
is.
similar, but not all boba's like that. Right?
Well, so there's two types of boba.
Yeah.
I only know this because my 9-year-old daughter is fucking obsessed with
Yeah.
it now. There's the boba that like pops and it's a little ball, and it's basically just like an outer kind of like wrapping with juice in the middle, and you just
Yeah,
apply a little bit
that's
of pressure,
exactly
and
what
it
it is.
explodes, and it
Yeah.
just like
Yeah, so the cocktail they'd all land at the bottom when you go to drink it though.
that's
come
it.
and
That's
then
100% what
Yeah.
that is.
come up and then, yeah.
It's pretty cool.
so-
if you got this luged, or
yeah.
whatever?
Well, so. It did turn cloudy. I kind of missed the process.
No, it looks-
the
it looks
sugar
really
cube
good,
ended
actually.
up just kind of falling apart. So I just fucking dumped it all in there. I said,
That's what I
"Who
would've
gives
done.
a shit, right?" So
I want to try this shit.
yeah, let's. I got this giant water dropper here. I figured just use this to serve it up.
Oh, that's a good idea. Good idea. You go to a lot of like craft breweries and stuff, and we talk about Chicago places and standard up there. So a meadery, honey wine, for anybody that hasn't tried that, I would suggest you give it a try. Very, very good. But one part of standard, they have a tiki bar as well. So they make these tiki drinks, And guys are like, oh, macho, like I want a tiki drink. Let me tell you something. You drink 2 of those, you're hurting.
Yeah.
I mean, they're strong.
Yeah.
It is. I think I had 3 up there last time I went and just like tried little samples. Hell, I had to sit around a little bit to leave. I'm like, I don't think I should be driving right now. And again, very, very fruity drinks, but man, they're flavorful and very strong. So I'm excited to try this one.
I see there's still some like sugar at the bottom of mine. I put some in yours, but
it smells actually much better than I remember it being.
So I'm getting a lot of licorice on there.
100%. It's all good. But which is not, it's not.
And I guess that's the anise. I mean,
it's not over. I mean, it's not like making me like,
No, yeah, and we did dilute it. I want to know what wormwood smells like. Do you think there's like wormwood in here?
Yeah, it's out in the country. You just go find it.
Yeah,
it's rotten.
It's a little wormy. You get a little wormy out of that.
It's almost menthol, kind of
herbaceous. Like that's a big word for me.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's great. You're done for the show now. We just needed one out of you, and now you're good. We'll see you, man.
All right, so it smells like some stank and some wormwood.
menthol.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Actually,
it's not bad.
Not too bad.
I'm still getting a little bit of burn off that, which I'm surprised. I put like 3 parts water in there. I thought that would cut it pretty good. I'm getting a tiny bit of burn, but
it's like you're drinking the most pleasant piece of black licorice.
I agree, 100%.
That's like I don't know what you caught. You Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has that little bit of sugary sweet, but a little bit of bitter, but it's
Jordan,
not,
would you like to try
It doesn't burn that much.
Yeah. Yeah, and
but it's there, but
we can actually.
Yeah, so I mean, what did you say the proof was on this? We said about 130, 125,
close to 140. If you want to burn, we can get you a little bit.
I don't want to.
But there's no like heat on a high proof bourbon or something.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty pleasant.
Yeah, so I'd like this for something different, and that's my.
So what
thing.
does this bottle cost you?
So this bottle was $100 even. It was like $99 and change.
So back to, if you don't mind, about when it comes, like you were Total Wine with this, like you said, $100.
It was $100,
and it's probably the smallest shelf in the entire room.
I would say it is
maybe,
close to it.
Yeah.
Probably that and Apple Brandy. Apple Brandy didn't have much either.
Yeah,
locally.
Sure. But would you say the average? Did you look at the other ones to see is this? Maybe the average cost of those?
This was slightly on the higher end. I saw a couple that were like, there was one that was like 20. The cheapest one was like $25.
I wouldn't want to drink that.
Yeah, exactly. That made me nervous. They had a few
that's
that
the
were
real wormwood.
Exactly. That's just worm.
Yeah, just being in the industry, like this is the one. I'm actually really glad we got to do this today because this is the one thing and that I don't know really much about. I've only tried it a couple times. We were just young kids and we just bought it. We thought we were going to trip on it. We were just kids.
You keep fucking hanging out with us, man. You're going to be a pro motherfucker.
So, I'm in liquor stores all day long, and that's the one thing. I never really ever pay attention to the absinthe section.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun that when I showed up, this is what we were going to do today. So,
and there are smaller sections actually. There's another drink called pastis that is it was like the successor to absinthe when it was outlawed. It uses all the same ingredients except for wormwood. So it's supposed to be very similar, minus the thujone, so you don't have seizures or whatever. Obviously that's not true, but like that they had like one.
Yeah,
and I got it. It's actually the same brand. They may have had two, but this one I looked online and prices range anywhere from like usually on average around $75. So I was kind of pissed off that it was like $100
about that Van Gogh when I was telling you about. I don't know the name of it, but I feel like it's like $75. $80.
It is. I think the Van Gogh is around like $70, something like that. They had I think they had another one that was over $100, but this one had really positive reviews, and it had the most amount of thujone. So you are fucking gonna die. I didn't even tell you that. Sorry. Yeah.
So what do you think retail? I mean, this is not something you're probably drinking every day. I think it makes a good cocktail for me, or whatever the drink you want to call this.
It's something different.
Would you buy it for $100? Nolan? What do you think? Have it at your bar at home. Be honest reviews.
Yeah.
I don't think I would buy this for $100, but I do enjoy the experience of trying something different. But no, not for me. I'm more of a bourbon beer guy.
Yeah,
I am too. But I like to have, I keep some gin at home or something. I mean, it's probably the same bottle of gin I've had for years.
Yeah. If somebody gave it to you as a gift.
Vodka. I mean, I like a Bloody Mary every now and then.
Yeah.
So here and there.
Yeah.
I enjoy this one. I would, at some point, I would like to try that $20 bottle and see how bad it is.
Just compare it. Yeah.